days by the Mutalisk Harass. You either see an early Zergling push or basically tech into Mutalisk Harass and then onto either Heavy Air, which is actually more rare these days, or Defiler's Ultralisks, which is kind of, it's the standard practice, I think. Right now, really awesome position for GoRush. He's definitely, my guess, going the air route. As you see, he's taken that other double gas and he's mining out of both of those, which suggests to me he's going a heavy gas build, which leans more towards heavy air in my opinion. Right now, Science Facility going up for Savior, but let's see if the Mutalisks come out in time. Basically, you need to get just a ton of Science Vessels up in the air if you're going to counter heavy air. Really, if you don't have significant Science Vessels up in the air, there's really no way to counter it. Those Guardians just rip infantry apart. Goliaths are okay, but again, it's kind of the same situation versus Protoss, as if you can protect with map artifacts, you really can keep them very safe. And Mutalisks, in the meantime, are very good against infantry. If you can pull the Guardians, kind of basically you get the trio you get is pushing the Guardians forward, pulling them back to bait the Science Vessels in, having the Scourges take out the Science Vessels in the meantime, using Mutalisks as a little bit of backup against any forces that are just overwhelming for the Goliaths. In the meantime, Mutalisks Harass coming in right now. Savior intercepting that rather well. He's got a very good base defense up, showing that he does in fact know how to handle a Mutalisk Harass with Terran. He's got that turret factory up, those Marines in position, kind of moving back and forth. Now this could cost him later because he's relying mostly on Marines for his base defense. As soon as he moves those Marines out of position, he's not going to have a solid base defense. In the meantime, GoRush going for that hive. My guess is going for that higher level tech again, because he's got that again pumping out of, I believe, 5 gas nodes. Actually, I take that back, 4. I don't think there is gas at that northward natural on his side, or the other side for that matter. But still, with pulling 4 gas, he can easily afford large air. In the meantime, more Mutalisks pumping out, and considering the amount of Mutalisks he is producing, I would expect that. He's in the meantime expanded to that protected natural at the 6 o'clock position. Again, protected just slightly by map artifacts, which is somewhat advantageous towards Terran, where they can just plop down a supply depot and kind of guard it. It doesn't look like Savior has expanded. He is producing out of that natural, but right now he's getting outproduced 3-2, and soon it's going to be 4-2, which is really a mistake. Again, has those Marines out. GoRush going up, attacking. He's building a second engineering bay, very smart. Good gas off. He radiating those Mutalisks, doing a decent amount of damage. Managed to kill one that had been significantly damaged. GoRush, a little frustrated with his own Mutalisk, decides to put it to death. That's what you get when you cross GoRush, man. Fear of the troops. Gotta make sure they have enough motivation to keep fighting. In the meantime, full production. I would expect to see Aspire going up. Look at all those Mutalisks he's got, and he's also got Scourges up. He's well prepared for simply only 2 Science Vessels up for Savior at this point, pushing up against those 3 Lurks. Really, Savior, let's see how good his reading abilities are, whether he cues in on the fact that he hasn't been faced with a large force by GoRush. In the meantime, only 3 Lurkers on the ground that were just there to contain. He's got to expect tech at this point. Right now he's moving out, but again that leaves his base extremely vulnerable. That Overlord going down, GoRush going up, pulling the southern position. He's going to go for that unprotected main of Savior. Really a big mistake for Savior. In the meantime, GoRush, seeing the large amount of forces that Savior has, he's going to put down 3 more sunken colonies, just so he has time to come back with those Mutalisks. Mutalisk in the meantime harassing the base. He has a queen out. He's going to attack. Good radiate on that Mutalisk, but it's not going to be enough. Just Mutalisks running rampant. He has the queen in position. If this command center goes into red, a mistake on Savior lifting it up. He didn't see that queen. If that queen gets that, if they manage to get that command center in the red, he's going to be able to capture that. That's going to devastate Savior's economy. He only has one other expansion. In the meantime, it also is, it's a decent advantage to have exploding Marines coming out of your captured command center, but really it's just advantageous to capture it. He is going to capture it right here with that queen. Infested Terran command center, pulling it out. Savior, realizing he's in big trouble now, is going to try to push with everything he has against GoRush's main, doing actually a split attack. That's very intelligent on Savior's part. He's going to try to force GoRush to split his forces to contend. Savior, in the meantime, way behind. Even if Savior does manage to get a couple of these hatcheries down, it's really easy for Zerg to reproduce their economy. In the meantime, two Scourges running into that Psi Vessel. Only two Psi Vessels up for Savior. That's really not enough. He needs at least 6 or 7 to deal with this large Guardian force that's coming in against him now. Lots of infantry on the ground. Ensnare coming up from the Queen. That's going to hinder their retreat. They can't pull out. Again, those Science Vessels just kind of vulnerable out there. Mutalisks going in, just destroying everything. Scourges, just kind of as a side note, going after those Science Vessels. Now Savior has no Science Vessels to fight this heavy air attack back. He is in big trouble. Not only down in resources significantly, also down tech-wise, also down just in pure unit production at this point. Mutalisks just raining down on that tank. One Science Vessel up for Savior at this point. Savior just kind of on his heels. Just shows you... actually, I wouldn't fault his Terran play at this point. He really has done everything right, but really GoRush has done everything more correctly. GoRush just playing fantastically. Went with that early tech strategy. In the meantime, Savior doing a great job taking out those extraneous hatcheries. I think he might be able to take that Queen's lair down, that Queen's nest, I should say, down. In the meantime, pulling down those Mutalisks, able to take out the few Marines that were attacking that hatchery. I don't know if... yeah, it looks like Savior's going to go up, and he's just going to try to use what forces he has left to inflict attack, keep GoRush on the defensive, and then try to get his economy back up. Really, though, he's really far behind this. He doesn't have anything significant to fight back this huge air force, just massive air force of GoRush. He manages to get one irradiate off on that Guardian, but really too little too late. He's just going to be able to pick that Guardian out of the irradiate. That's one Guardian less, but... that's one less irradiate that Science Vessel has. I believe it's the only one that Savior has in the air. He really has to baby that. In the meantime, only producing out of one single one single command center. Savior, in the meantime, trying to pull those forces back again, going for that 6 o'clock position. It's not going to matter, though, at this point. Guardians coming in, flooding in on Savior's base. This is GG. All those... yeah, this gigantic air force is just going to devastate everything in Savior's base. Those two Science Vessels are out, but they just don't have enough energy. They don't have energy to cast irradiate. And even if they did, 2 irradiates against that gigantic air force of GoRush's isn't going to be effective whatsoever. Savior putting up a good fight, but yeah, GoRush doing everything right, going early tech against the early expand, getting 4 hatcheries and 4 producing res node hatcheries with that just massive amounts of gas coming in against Savior's only one single expansion, that being his natural expansion. Savior putting up a good fight, more ensnare going down on those Marines. Those Marines are easily going to be taken care of, but really, yeah, Savior not up to the challenge of taking on a top tier Zerg. So really, as you all know, this kind of spelled the end for Savior's foray into Terran play. He put up a decent fight against a very good Zerg player, but really GoRush having the better strategy, overwhelming with that just massive air force. Really, Savior's only bad cue was not recognizing that GoRush was simply playing contain, waiting to get his tech up, and then just rushing in with a gigantic air force. Savior looking somewhat frustrated, but you got to expect it, and GoRush not looking extremely happy, feels almost insulted that Savior decided to go Terran against him. Hope you guys enjoyed that match. If you have any more requests, just let me know. I'll try to get to them in between the MSL OSL play. Hope you enjoyed that commentary. Talk to you later.